What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Going to talk about Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if this is a rumor or not. Well, it's a rumor that I just got off of boxingscene.com that Manny Pacquiao might not bring back Freddie Roach, and that Freddie Roach might be concerned that he's gotten the boot. So that's what the purpose of this video is. But before I get into that, please, I got a live stream coming up probably later today, and so I'd appreciate if you could subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon, because that way you can get notified of the live stream. One of the things I'm trying to do on the channel is have as much good real-time communication with subscribers and boxing fans as I can. And if you hit the bell icon, then you'll know when it is that we have the real-time discussions on the live stream for the channel. And also, I'll feed the link to share the links to the articles that I share or I discussed on the Twitter feed. So please, hit that if you don't mind. Also, in the comment section, please try to keep comments, free and clear of insults for other subscribers and people that leave comments, because you really want to have a very mature boxing conversation on this channel and not have it kind of inundated with a lot of insults and things like that. That's much appreciated. Now, on to the subject matter of the video. Manny Pacquiao to return without Freddie Roach. The event is roughly 6 weeks away or so, and there's still no official word on whether or not 8-division world champion Manny Pacquiao will return to the ring on April 14th at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. Pacquiao was being positioned to fight Mike Alvarado as part of a doubleheader that would feature Terrence Crawford challenging Jeff Horn for the WBO welterweight title. Pacquiao, 39 years old, has been out of the ring since losing a 12-round unanimous decision to Horn last July in Brisbane, Australia. A rematch was being lined up for last November, but Pacquiao withdrew, citing conflicts with his work schedule as a senator in the Philippines. One thing is for sure, Crawford will fight Horn on the April date, but Pacquiao's return is still up in the air. Another issue that has come up is the uncertainty of who will train Pacquiao for his next fight. Since 2001, the Filipino superstar has been trained by Freddie Roach, but Roach has been unable to reach Pacquiao, and they have not spoken to each other in quite a while. The Hall of Fame trainer has called the boxer numerous times with no response. I usually leave him alone until I hear from him, but I've called him 5 times and haven't heard back, Roach told the Los Angeles Times. Maybe he changed his number. The Times indicated that there have been rumors in the Philippines that Pacquiao would consider promoting his best friend and assistant cornerman, Buboy Fernandez. After Pacquiao was defeated last year, his manager, Michael Kontz, and promoter, Bob Arum of Top Rank, were both highly critical of Roach's performance. They felt the veteran trainer had dropped the ball by not complaining to the referee, Mark Nelson, about Horn's roughhouse tactics in the fight. What the H is going wrong with that corner? Why wasn't Freddie Roach out in the ring between rounds yelling at the referee? It's his job. And there's confusion in the corner with the languages, with Buboy and Michael Diaz yelling and screaming like a maniac, said Arum to the Los Angeles Times. And Freddie has to stay close to Manny to give him some advice. To me, they were so overconfident going in. Justin Fortune tells the press that the only way Horn can win is if Manny trips going into the ring. I had seen the kid. I told everyone he was big, tough kid who could take a punch. I didn't think he'd beat Manny, but it wasn't the same Manny. And for his part, Kontz backed Arum. The corner didn't have a strategy. They were all amazed Jeff Horn was such a tough, rugged fighter, and they didn't adapt to it. There's a lot of blame to go around, but the bottom line is the kid had a lot of heart and came to win and did everything he could to get it, and the referee let him do more than he should have, Kontz said. So now we see, is Freddie Roach getting thrown underneath the bus? That's going to be interesting. I had said a long time ago that Bob Aaron, that Manny Pacquiao might need a different trainer. That he hadn't shown really any new wrinkles in his game since I started really watching him fight when he came to the United States and around the time he was with Freddie Roach. Back then he was being promoted by I can't remember the name of his original promoter before he was with Top Rank, and that's a shame with me, but essentially Freddie Roach got Manny Pacquiao to jump ship from his original promoter and join Bob Arum. So now I think that it's pretty ironic, if this is true, because this is a rumor, that it would be Bob Arum and Michael Kuntz, according to what this author is implying, not saying that I know that it's the truth, where they would jump on top of Freddie Roach and for what happened in the fight with Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn, and lobby and put the blame at the foot of the trainer for Manny Pacquiao not beating Jeff Horn. So, man, that is if it's true that Freddie Roach is not going to be in the corner with Manny Pacquiao, then what goes around comes around. I'm not going to cry for the dude. They've had a great career, a great time with one another, and Manny Pacquiao's made a lot of money with Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach, I'm sure, has made a lot of money with Manny Pacquiao. But sometimes, hey man, you got to figure out what's going wrong. And Manny Pacquiao has not had a knockout since Miguel Cotto, and Freddie Roach is just dead set in him being the type of guy to get knockouts. So, but when you're fighting guys that are bigger than you, you need to be able to box. You got to be able to box yourself to decision wins. That's one of the things that one of my favorite trainers, and I've talked about this in the last several videos that I've made, Nazim Richardson talked about the guys that have been able to move up in weight successfully and the fact that your skills continue to move up with you. Manny Pacquiao, I do believe, Manny Pacquiao is one of the most talented fighters that I've seen. I believe that he's an exceptional athlete. Questions about whether or not he got a little help with that, athleticism aside. But from what I've seen in the ring, I think Manny Pacquiao is an exceptional athlete. He's a very, very solid boxer, but I think he's a better athlete than he is a boxer. I think that he's got exceptional coordination, exceptional power, exceptional speed. But now that he's getting up in years, and he's been getting up in years, he's pushing up on 40 years old. He's 39 years old. His skills have not, he's still fighting the same way that he did when he was 28 years old, 27 years old. So there is definitely a question about whether or not Freddie Roach has been able to improve him or not. And I think it's fair to say that he has not improved him. Now, I'm not going to agree with what Bob Arum and Kuntz said about Jeff Horn. Scott Duggan, not Jeff Horn. Freddie Roach not trying to get Manny Pacquiao prepared. Freddie Roach has been saying for a while that Manny Pacquiao needs to focus more on boxing and take it serious like it's a full-time job. So I think both sides of that, there's probably blame to be distributed equally, right? And I don't think that it's fair to say that that Freddie Roach is the whole problem. Now, I will tell you, since we need to be spreading blame around equally, and some credit to boot, because personally, I can see why there's a whole lot of people say that Manny Pacquiao didn't lose that fight against Jeff Horn. Of course, Teddy Atlas and Stephen A. Smith, the boxing expert Stephen A. Smith, thought that Manny Pacquiao won, but really, what I'm hoping is happening here is that this is a case of Manny Pacquiao having gotten smart. Manny Pacquiao is clearly in a situation where Bob Arum is trying to make him food for somebody. Clearly. trying to make him food for somebody. And I had made videos around the time of the fight with Jeff Horn and around after the fight with Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao. Before the fight with Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao, I was making videos like, I don't understand why everybody's saying this is a surefire thing for Manny Pacquiao against Jeff Horn. I watched all his fights, and all the fights were on YouTube. And I was like, man, this is a live underdog. This guy can box. He looked good against Randall Bailey. Is not a soft touch. I mean, I know Randall Bailey's kind of one-dimensional, in that he's just got kind of that heavy right hand, but still, he's a crafty veteran. He's been in the ring for a long time. And Jeff Horn, to me, looked like he showed that he could adjust and that he had a lot of dog in him. And I had made videos. You can check that. You can check the page. They're still up about him, Jeff Horn being a live underdog in that fight. And I think that I believe Freddie Roach knew that as well, but Manny Pacquiao wasn't necessarily, buying it and wasn't focused enough on the fight. However, after that fight, I said that the best thing that Manny Pacquiao can do is try to get away from Bob Arum and try to promote himself. I thought that he would be crazy to go to Australia again for a rematch, which is what Bob Arum was trying to get him to do. And even in this article, it's so funny that it's like if you repeat something enough times, people are going to believe it, even though it's not true. Even in this article, which is on Boxing Scene, if you read this, you would come away believing that the reason that the rematch didn't happen was because of a conflict of schedules, because it conflicted with the schedule of Manny Pacquiao. When that's not what Manny Pacquiao said. At the time, Manny Pacquiao said, no, I don't find it's not an issue with the schedule, it's an issue with location. I want to fight in the Philippines. And he was willing to fight in the Philippines. Bob Arum said, no, that fight's not going to happen in the Philippines. It's got to happen in Australia because Jeff Horn had an option. I guess the rematch clause that Manny Pacquiao had was could only be executed if, or God, man, I hate that I forgot to mess that word up. It could only be exercised if the fight was in Australia. But Manny Pacquiao wanted it in the Philippines. Jeff Horn wasn't willing to go to the Philippines, and Manny Pacquiao wasn't willing to go to Australia. And that's what Manny Pacquiao said. That's what Manny Pacquiao's representative said. But somehow the line keeps getting spread over and over again that it was some conflict in schedule that kept that fight from happening. It was Manny Pacquiao not wanting to go to the Philippines, not wanting to go back to Australia, because he had sued, if people remember, not sued, he had demanded a recount of the fights be done by the WBO because he felt like, one, the scorecards were wrong, and two, he felt like that the referee didn't do his job in allowing Jeff Horn to fight dirty. Right? So he didn't want to go back there. So maybe what I'm hoping the scenario is that Manny Pacquiao's not being stupid again. Right? Which is being on the undercard of Terrence Crawford against Mike Alvarado. Now, if it turns out that the fight happens, it turns out that the fight happens. But why would Manny Pacquiao be on the undercard of Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford against Mike Alvarado? Why would he do that? Why would he split pay-per-view money with that fight? The pay-per-view with Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn is going to sell more than likely, and I'm a big Terrence Crawford fan. If it's going to do any significant numbers, it's going to do significant numbers because Manny Pacquiao's on the card. So what I'm hoping really why Manny Pacquiao's not returning the calls is because that's ludicrous. Why would he do that? Why would he hold up and carry a card for Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn when Bob Arum, when when Jeff Horn and Bob Arum wouldn't work with him to get the rematch in the Philippines or Vegas, because he said or Vegas in the first place. So it could be that he's not getting the return of the calls, the return of calls because he's going to let go of Freddie Roach. I personally, I don't know, but I think that's the less likely of the scenarios. The more likely scenario is that he's smart enough to know that he shouldn't be fighting on an undercard for Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn. And saving Bob Arum money. Because Bob Arum's going to have to pay Bob Arum's going to have to pay for that fight if it's on ESPN. Because ESPN is only giving him if the rumors are true, then Bob Arum is only getting $64 million on the total of that contract for 4 years with 18 fights, a year. The budget for each fight card is like $800,000 per fight card. And I know I've said it in other videos and I'll say it again. I know that they can proportion that differently. Split that out and put more on one fight and less in another, but it's not a lot of money. In order to have pay Terrence Crawford $1 million and to pay Jeff Horn, what I've heard is Jeff Horn is going to get $1 million. In order to get Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford $1 million, it's got to be on pay-per-view. And seriously, as much as I love Terrence Crawford and think he's a great fighter, and as much as I appreciate Jeff Horn and the toughness that Jeff Horn has, and as much as I'm looking forward to the fight, I will be streaming that puppy if they put that on pay-per-view. The only reason that I would consider doing a pay-per-view is if Manny Pacquiao was also on the fight. Manny Pacquiao was also fighting, and he was fighting against somebody legitimate. I would even take, I would take Mike Alvarado if it had to be Mike Alvarado, or what I thought was more likely Konstantin Panamarev. I thought Konstantin Panamarev might be more realistic than Mike Alvarado. But whatever the case is, that might make it a pay-per-view fight. But as is, just Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn, why would Manny Pacquiao put that whole card on his back? The best fighter in that card would definitely be Terrence Crawford. Right? Two up-and-coming fighters. And even though Terrence Crawford, as far as what he's done in his career, he's arrived as a professional fighter as far as respect of of avid boxing fans and people that know and love the sport. Everybody knows who Terrence Crawford is. So I don't want to act like he's on the come up. But he's definitely not, legendary. He's not of the status, the worldwide status and name recognition of a Manny Pacquiao. So why would Manny Pacquiao deal with Bobby Arum in that type of situation? I'm hoping it's just that if he did that, I would say again, he'd be stupid. Just like I made the video, and you guys who are new subscribers, I made the video a while ago about why I thought that Manny Pacquiao would be stupid to take a rematch with Bob Arum in Australia. Why would he take all that money if he's going to try to be the president of the Senate of the Philippines? Why would he take all that money to Australia? Why would he go back into the same situation that he'd been in when Manny Pacquiao, after the fight was over with Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn, was saying that he thought that he was set up? Now, Bob Arum's blowing all this off as if it's a bunch of people that are just talking and don't know Manny Pacquiao. But, hey, man, there are many, many people in this world that are more trustworthy than Bob Arum is. And I agree, and I bet you money that if you ask that on a microphone on the stage with Bob Arum, he would tell you what I just said was true. So anyway, long and short of it is, I am less likely inclined to believe that Manny Pacquiao is going to fire Freddie Roach. Less inclined to believe that, right? Than I am that Manny Pacquiao might just be unwilling to do something stupid and fight on the undercard, take this basically an insult to the guy and put him on the undercard, Jeff Horn's undercard. I mean, just listen to the proposition. And I promise you, I've read the articles in the Manila Times where Manny Pacquiao was interviewed about why he didn't take the rematch with Jeff Horn. And he said it was not a scheduling issue. He said that it was because he wanted it to be in Vegas or he wanted it to be in the Philippines. He did not want to go back to Australia because he felt like he was mistreated by the WBO and the officials in Australia. That's why he didn't make that fight. It's not what they said in this article that I just read, and I'll tweet out for you, where it said it was a scheduling conflict. That's Bob Arum telling you, saying something, enough times where it just gets to be, accepted as truth because he keeps repeating it. So, but anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. I'm looking to see. I'm excited to see him in his next fight. Right? Bob Arum said he had a choice after. Now, this is even it, holding out that bait where, after you fight in this undercard, then you get your choice between Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao and Lomachenko. If you just fight on this pay-per-view card for me, I promise. Come on, man. Hopefully Manny Pacquiao ain't that stupid and he's trying to do his own thing. And with that, I'm out. Peace.